It's Sunday evening, which means it's Fanboys Live and the Retro Review time. Welcome to the show. Hey, Fu, why did Bruce Wayne's dentist give him mouthwash?
I've got nothing.
Because he had bat breath?
Oh, gosh.
It's the greatest DC Comics show on YouTube with the worst jokes. I'm Ryan, Magic Lasso, hosting this week. And should we take attendance right away?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's take attendance. Okay, let's welcome Tony Fett to the show. I don't see no Tony Fett. That would be, should I mark that down as unexcused absence?
Unexcused, yes. Yeah. And
okay,
it's occurring to me now that I really hope that you read issue number 5 tonight.
And I'm here to tell you I didn't. Tim the Comic Collector. Oh, I do have a note on that.
I was hoping Tim was coming to save us.
Absence. And Comic Food 2814. He's here. He's on time.
Thank you.
Yay. If you're joining us, watching on the Rewind, certainly appreciate you spending your time with us on Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. Let's salute some folks that are joining us live, as we'll be doing throughout the course of the show. Hi, Kyle. Hope you're having a fantastic weekend. Wheelchair Superhero 87. Great to have you here for Fanboys Live tonight. Getting ready to play D&D soon. It's John's Comics with Kids. Awesome to have you here, John.
Hey, John.
He enjoyed the intro. A cruise, Walgreens.
Walgreens?
Well, he could be in Walgreens.
He could be.
Or he could be joining us now.
Oh,
he was shaving. That's what was going on.
Yeah, cruise or Walgreens. I like how it was one
cruise or he was at Walgreens.
There was no happy medium. It was one or the other.
One or the other. He was shaving. That's what's going on.
Yeah, more aerodynamic.
The shaver he got at Walgreens.
Yeah, at Walgreens. So he would look nice on the cruise.
Yes, you know everything.
Unruly Simeon and Loki are here watching. That's cool. Super S 9000, great to see you. Super S made my day the other day. He sent me a photo. He bought a copy of Female Force Loretta Lynn, and he sent me a photo holding it, so that made me happy. And I do want to plug, today Super Russ announced a brand new giveaway contest. It's his Road to 2K, and it is a 9.8 graded DC Comics book. And I've already entered the contest. So
yeah, I saw the video today. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I say go check out sometime and participate in his contest. It's an easy entry, and even to get a bonus entry, it's pretty easy. So go check that out. Yeah, look at that. Just silence. There ain't no talking at the Walgreens.
We're having a meeting.
Kenneth Bird. Hi, how are you? Hope you're doing well and having a great weekend. Thanks for stopping by. I collect a lot. What is up with you? Wrapping up the weekend with us, which is really cool. And you are welcome, Russ. So those are our live chatters right now. As more join us, we will salute them. And once again, if you're watching on the Rewind, salute and hello to you. And there's Ben Compton pop in. So awesome, Ben. Great to see you.
How's it going?
Great. How's everyone doing? How are you two doing? Are you getting ready for Black Adam movie? Have you bought your tickets? Do you know what day you're going yet?
I'll be going Friday morning. Comes out Thursday. I'll be going Friday morning. Okay. Once we drop the kids off at school and daycare and whatnot, then we'll be going. So very excited.
Food, are you going, or do you know, or?
No specific plans yet, but yeah, I'll probably go with my kids.
Okay. Do you have to buy an extra ticket for the food trooper?
Yes.
I thought so, because
it's an emotional support trooper. You shouldn't have to.
He requires his own seat.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I have to sit in the back row. They've got something about him standing on the chair that they don't like.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I don't know when I'm going yet. I was planning on going on Thursday, but which would be my first time going to the movies in this town that I just moved to. But I looked at their show times. They have 2 screenings on Thursday, and they're both while I'm at work. So that's not going to work.
I think you're going to be sick that day.
Yeah. So I need to figure that out, or who's going to start slinging the comic books. So what we got for DC news? Tony, I'm sure you know some stuff that's going on. I have a little bit, but
you go first. I'm still pulling up a couple articles.
Awesome. So Titans, the new season of Titans, we have a release date now. The first batch, and we're not getting the entire season at once, but the first batch of episodes that we're going to get start on November 3rd this year. So just so you know, November 3rd is the date for the new season of Titans. Okay. What is happening on November 5th? Something is happening, and it's happening a little earlier than expected. It was reported that filming would begin in early 2023, but now it's been leaked that November 5th is the first shooting day for the new Joker movie, featuring Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn making somebody salty.
I'm sorry, Tony. I'm sorry.
I'm the one who's salty about it. No, I don't care. It honestly, if it's that whole Joker 2 sequel, Harley Quinn's going to be in that one, I'm okay with that because I think it's going to depict her as like how I picture Harley in my head, a villain, not someone who you bring in the Batcave. That's the Harley Quinn that I grew up with. That's the Harley Quinn I want. Just someone who's as predictable or unpredictable and crazy as the Joker. That's what I'm shooting for. Sorry, I don't want to steal your thing.
No, that's it. So, okay. Let's say hello to Hoy, to Captain Comics. Great to have you stopping by tonight. Appreciate it. So that's pretty much my big news. What else do you have?
Officially today, James Gunn is attached to a untitled Harley Quinn feature, is what it says. It doesn't say movie, so you thought it would say film. But he's been doing some TV stuff, so maybe they're doing and it is Margot Robbie Harley Quinn. So
it could end up on the streaming platform.
Could just be a streaming thing. Could be a movie. They just weren't. Maybe they're just intentionally being secretive. I don't know. So for those of you who I like James Gunn, so hopefully that one will be nice.
I like that too because you know what that means.
No, it doesn't. Doesn't mean nothing.
It means brand new material for Totally Finn.
That's not what that means.
It totally does.
I'm going to need someone to send me that video so I can load that into my StreamYard.
We don't know. That's one thing we're going to not do is let's not start sharing.
We're a file sharing system society.
Tell you what. We will do exactly what somebody else did with a picture of me in a squirrel suit. We will only give it to friends if that person did so as well.
I guess that's fair. That's too funny. Wonder Woman 3, big update for Wonder Woman 3. Script is completed, turned in, and has gotten the David Zaslav seal of approval. Which is big news. It's a big milestone in any movie. Ben Affleck is also tied to the project, which is pretty awesome. That's fun.
Did you hear what DC character was yanked out of the Black Adam movie? And it's been confirmed that this character was originally intended to be in the movie and is.
I heard, but I think we're talking about two different ones.
Okay, it's Stargirl. And it would have been a different actress than the Stargirl who's playing her on TV. And the reason she was removed is because of the TV show, the Arrowverse. Requested that she not be part of that, which, I don't know, it does nothing but, to me, would bring people more interested in your character and your show if she's on in the motion picture. But apparently this has been confirmed by 2 different people that she was part of the original script and was removed per the request of the people associated with the TV show / Arrowverse.
I would agree. Why would they do that?
Do we have tie-ins from the Arrowverse on the Flash movie?
Wait, say that again.
Are there any tie-ins up from the Arrowverse in the Flash movie?
Not that I know of.
Yeah.
Okay. Because the Flash movie is the only movie I can think of that's pulling in material from past DC universes, right?
Mm-hmm. But the Flash TV show had someone from the DCEU in it.
They did?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had Ezra Miller was on the Flash TV show as the Flash.
As the Flash.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
I mean, it was 30 seconds. They didn't really do anything with it.
It counts.
Okay, so I mean, where I'm going with this is I'm trying, like, it would make sense then that you could have the same actress like transfer from the CW over to the movies.
I bet if DC is as cool as we all hope they are, wouldn't it be awesome to see just a brief?
Who thinks that?
Me, I think they're cool. Wouldn't it be great to see like a really cool Grant Gustin cameo, just like they did in the TV show? Quick 10 to 15 second, you know what I mean? Like, Barry, like, I remember you. Like, okay, bye. That kind of thing. I think it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck has reportedly signed a new DCEU contract, which we were specking on pretty hard prior to this, but now it's all but certain, I would imagine, considering they're bringing in some lower tier DCEU characters back, including Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke. So that's pretty cool. I thought he would make a cool Deathstroke. So we'll see. And it sounds like his first DCEU comeback, I'm talking about Joe Manganiello, will probably be in Peacemaker season 2. And then go to Ben Affleck's Batman. I agree. I agree. I like Batflick. I think this is a great cast. I thought when they announced him as Batman, a lot of people were like, terrible cast. No way this ain't going to work. But he killed it, man.
Well, they said that about Michael Keaton, too.
Yes, they did. And he killed it.
So, Tony, I'm surprised. I don't know if you didn't see this story yet, but I'm surprised you haven't mentioned it, that according to an article on thedirect.com, they are saying that The Rock has confirmed a crossover Black Adam Shazam project is in the pipeline for a future project. They're not saying what, but they will meet. Yes,
that is a great segue into that's the very same thing I was going to talk about next. It sounds like they're going to do the new 52 meetup of Shazam and Black Adam, which will be pretty awesome. And I think that's where you're going to have your big Superman come in, because it's going to be Superman and Shazam taking on Black Adam. Because Superman's going to try, he's going to fail because he doesn't know that he's got a vulnerability to magic, but he's going to find out trial by fire. Then Shazam's going to come in to the rescue, and they're going to, hopefully beat up Black Adam pretty hard. Which I think would be great.
Be like a Justice League style event.
I don't know.
Maybe where Shazam joins the league.
That would be good. That would be good. And I could see that. That would make sense to me. I'd be okay with that. I think that'd be good.
I mean, if they did it right, I think you'd have, at that point, you would have to bring in maybe another villain for him to work with, but maybe
just make Black Adam's the villain. Just make Black Adam the villain. From what I understand, Kondok's going to have this artifact that they need to complete a task, and they're going to not ask Black Adam. They're just going to take it. Thus, the big fight.
Okay. I mean, maybe if they leave it on a bit like open-ended at the end of the movie, that too could lead into something with the Justice League, maybe,
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
But I mean, it's almost confirmed, soft confirmed, that Shazam is definitely going to be in the DCEU at some point, especially if they're bringing Gal Gadot into the new Shazam movie. I mean, they're setting it up pretty hard. And that's pretty cool. Like I said last week, I think they're having these big name characters go to all these lesser known characters to like, hey, join the Justice League. There's a battle coming, similar to, your Nick Fury and the Avengers, but they're all Nick Fury, which is a different, unique way, and I think it works for DC, and I'm okay with that.
So the actor who plays Hawkman in the Black Adam movie was asked in an interview, why isn't Hawkgirl in this movie? And his reply was, it would have been amazing, but her not being there is intentional. They have room to grow, and everything has a meaning and a purpose.
See, when you were talking about character that was in the movie that wasn't, I heard it was Hawkgirl. It was supposed to be Hawkman and Hawkgirl, Dr. Fate, Atom Smasher, Cyclone.
To me, that sounds like they're hoping for a spinoff.
But, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there can be a situation where there is a Hawkman and no Hawkgirl, right? Or vice versa.
Yeah. I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, because isn't it like once they both die, then they both reset together?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't immediately reset until they're, okay.
Yeah, you got to remember they could change that if they feel like it and have done stuff like that. So,
yeah.
But
wasn't that even a Jeff Johns thing?
Yeah. That was.
So
Jeff
if he's
Johns
got
thing.
anything to do with it, I would gather it would.
Isn't he executive producer on?
I think
Black Adam, maybe not executive producer, but I know he's got a credit in Black Adam movie. I forget what it is.
Hey, I'm sorry, but I really haven't been paying attention to the show since Tony announced that the script is complete for Wonder Woman 3. I've just been thinking, how can I get in touch with Patty Jenkins so she can offer me a role?
And there's another, I mean, it's pretty obvious if they're going to have Ben Affleck's Batman in there, but I guess it's a modern, in terms of timeline, it's, now it's the present DCEU. It's not like a past piece. Which, by the way, I think, Wonder Woman, the first one was a great movie, but I think they missed a huge opportunity going World War II instead of World War I, but, whatever.
That was because of Captain America movie. They wanted to try to stop comparisons between the two.
I don't know who would have compared them. Like, who cares? They're not comparing
every Marvel fans.
They're not comparing Saving Private Ryan to Captain America, both set in World War II, or Band of Brothers. Like, who cares? I don't care.
It's a comic book thing.
I don't. Both of those characters existed in World War II anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Nerds.
All right, so but Tony, you're the guy with all the DC news. So what about the character everybody cares most about, though? What's going on with Green Lantern?
It's been all quiet on the Green Lantern front here, which is I don't know if that's good or bad. It's making me nervous.
I assumed you wearing the shirt meant you were bringing big news to us, but no.
I don't know. The shirt's about as faded as the news is.
Yeah, right. It's not looking very green. It's not looking very green, but yeah, it is. It has been crickets on the Green Lantern front. Well, that's making me nervous. I agree with you. I'm chomping at the bits for anything Green Lantern, the movie, the TV show, anything.
They need to get real about it. I mean, they need to introduce them in with I can't see how they could have another Justice League movie without them. Like, they've got to get them in there.
Can you imagine if somehow Ryan Reynolds came back as Hal Jordan? How awesome that would be. But it would be pretty tough because then Sinestro would have to be
now, though. I mean,
that's okay. He can come back as experienced Hal Jordan.
gray hair with the silver streaks,
a parallax.
All right, you sold me. Yeah, let's get him back.
Let's get him back. Come on, Ryan.
Hello to Paul S., who's joined us in the chat, as well as Jedi Farce. Thanks for stopping by.
What do you think about the New York Comic-Con peach? Okay, I don't know what it is. What is it? Peach?
In 30 seconds or less, there were some incidents with Peach Momoko's appearance at New York Comic-Con. She was there to sign for free. A bunch of whatnot sellers were given early access.
Oh no!
Essentially screwing over the fans. No. She got upset. She bailed for part of her scheduled appearance, and then felt bad for bailing, and was trying to figure this out because she was. It was Whatnot. Whatnot had given out early passes to preferred sellers, so they got in line. ahead of all of the other fans.
Why in the heck did they think that was a good idea?
Why did Whatnot have that ability to do that at her signing?
Or any signing?
Because they gave these people, from what I understand, and don't get mad at me if I'm wrong on this.
I'm mad at you.
From what I understand, and I don't want to delve into this a whole lot, but from what I understand, they give them passes that gets them early access into the hall. And then they've all had, you know how Whatnot has their little, I don't want to say conspiracies, but they have their little thing like, oh, let's pick this book or let's do this and make this ours. Well, it was, let's get the remarks and the signatures from Peach Momoko because she makes so few rare appearances, especially in the United States.
Because she ain't coming back anymore. Good job, guys.
So I don't know that.
And she was upset with what they did. So she walked out.
Yes. Not for the entire thing, but during like on Sunday, I think on Sunday she completely bailed and then felt bad because that was Kids Day because she didn't know how to handle the situation. And they were bringing tons of books and wanting remarks. The autographs were free, but the remarks she was charging for. But the thing is, there were so many people that the true fans couldn't even get up to her. And what hot take right here, and I don't want to get on this, but what my personal opinion, Whatnot is not doing one single thing for true comic book fans.
You're absolutely right. They're in it for the dollar.
Exactly.
Yep.
They do not care about you.
They don't care. Not only do they not care about the individual, they don't care about the community
or the industry.
They don't care about the artist or nothing.
There's no respect for anyone. And no company should be playing favorites with anyone. You just shouldn't.
There was a fight in front of her and someone yelled
there was a fight
at her. Like she had control. Listen,
that's just it. I mean, you heard my initial question is like, how'd they do this at her event? But as Lasso was explaining, it's more
they were given passes to New York Comic Con, which got them in early. And then, during these little emails that get exchanged between everyone, oh, let's all do this and let's all gravitate towards this book and make it ours.
But you can see how in the moment somebody could interpret it like this is her doing it. And it sounds like no.
As a autograph chaser, I get it, especially someone like Peach. You're right. She never comes, and that is a rare Pokemon card indeed. If you ever can even just get up to her booth in general. So I get their frustration. If that's true and Whatnot gave them passes, first of all, I don't know why they thought they could just cut the front of the line. If that's what they did,
they're not cutting to the front of the line. They're in line before the doors to the public open.
Okay, well that's fair. If they,
no, it's not fair because they are already in line before any of the public walks into that room. That's not fair.
That's pretty. I get that that's not fair, but that's very, very common. Especially, I'll take Baltimore for example. If you have a VIP pass, and I don't, and I want to get someone, let's say, Tom King, he's pretty popular in Baltimore, and I run straight to his booth. Already, there's 100 people in front of me.
But
at 10:01, for example.
A VIP pass can be purchased by anyone in the public if they choose to spend that money.
Sure.
Where this are exhibitors passes that the public doesn't have a chance to purchase. That's where it's not fair.
Okay, yeah. If they were exhibitors passes, then you're right. If they were just VIP passes, then
if it's a VIP, then
okay.
You as a fan have the option to get that.
Yeah. But I agree. If they came in on exhibitors pass,
into that, but that's
no, you're right. You're right.
That's the deal. That's not what the show tonight is about. And you're gonna get me on my soapbox. And remember what happens when I get on my soapbox.
It's hard to get you down.
Yes.
But that's okay.
Way to go, Jedi.
Way to go. But I agree. Whatnot. Shame on you for doing that.
Again,
if it's true.
Let's just say this. Shame on you for hurting the comic book fans again.
And you know what? Poor Peach, I guarantee you, no one gave her a 2-second heads up. It just happened, Didn't tell her team. I'm sure she had a staff or some kind of manager team there to brief her about, hey, this could happen. It just happened in front of her. And now she has this bad experience about New York Comic Con. She'll never come back. And now she has this bad taste about cons, and she'll think twice about coming back. And that hurts you, me, people who
But you know who it doesn't hurt? All those Whatnot.
Doesn't hurt Whatnot.
Already have the signature and the remark on their book. It doesn't hurt them at all because the prices of their books just went up higher now.
Well, how many of them did she actually sign? Probably not many.
I don't know. I think she got through a lot before. I don't know. I wasn't there. So
yeah, I wasn't there. I can't speculate. Let's hear more about the VIP pass angle. What does that buy you? Baltimore Comic-Con, for example, if you buy a VIP pass, you get in 1 hour before the general public. In that 1 hour, sometimes it's worth it, sometimes not worth it. Because some talent, they're like, well, I don't got to be there till 10 o'clock. So you're there an hour early for nothing. Granted, if you want to spend that whole time sitting in the front of the line for whoever to get a signature, you're front of the line and bring a chair. You can absolutely do that. Or you can just hit up, I know Anthony's Comic Art.
So that's just like buying the fast pass at like an amusement
like
park.
Disneyland. Yeah, you get in about an hour early. Yeah. Because she doesn't do DC covers. Yeah, I'll give you.
I have a Wonder Woman peach cover.
That's true.
Wasn't
there? Yeah.
There's another group similar to Whatnot. They're called comicsketchart.com, and those people suck just as bad. To a point, like they're not like, hey, secret here, dumping 200 people. No, they're not doing that. But like, let's say you meet, whoever you're waiting for, and you're in line, you're guaranteed a spot, you get a signature, and you just want to chat about the book for like 2 minutes. They won't let you. They're like, you got your signature, get out. Yeah. You can't even get a selfie or anything. They're like, nope, your signature and you're gone. Essentially turning these comic book artists and writers into robots. That's it. Just cranking them out for money.
And I do want to say hello to BTC Moon Guy as well.
Yeah, sorry. What's up, buddy?
Any other DC related news we want to talk about before we segue into the retro review?
No.
Not that I know of.
It's Fanboys Live and the retro review, not brought to you by Whatnot. Okay, so it's part 2 today in the retro review, and we're doing the Legends, which was a 6-issue miniseries. It was the first kind of post-crisis, if I'm remembering correctly, the first post-crisis miniseries that kind of reset and relaunched us back into the DC universe after Crisis. So we did issues 1 through 3 last week on Comic Food's channel, and we'll finish up the 6-issue series here tonight. So Tony, tell us again, what made you pick this as your pick for the retro review?
One, it fit the kind of time frame that we need, and 2, I like it because it's a low key issue, or not necessarily issue, but event that assembles some groups, and we'll get into that after the story. And I think it makes heroes, the superheroes, kind of have to look at a fairly common problem at a different angle, which is always good. And plus, it gives some lesser known at the time characters a little bit of limelight, which I always enjoy.
Awesome. All right, who's kicking us off with issue 4?
I am.
All right.
And the truth is, he just heard Suicide Squad was in this story, and he assumed that meant they included Harley.
Oh yeah, that's you got me. Even those came out like 20 years before she was even popular.
Okay, here we go with Legends issue number 4. We get this crazy cover with all the Justice League. Their heads are on fire, it looks like, and G. Gordon Godfrey is just kind of laughing maniacally there. Cry havoc. Okay, so it starts off with these cops. They're kind of talking in the car about the changes that have gone on. If you remember at the end of the last story, it ended with we had I think it was President Reagan at the time had just said that there was no longer any superhero activity allowed. Superman agreed to hang up the cape, and but it ended with Darkseid and his warhounds ready to come invade Earth. So here we are with these cops discussing the events and the president's changes regarding heroes. These two officers kind of fall on different sides of the issue. And then they run into Count Vertigo, who spins their car upside down, and in jumps Black Canary in her old costume there, and catches him off guard. Vertigo's like, "What? I thought you're supposed to be, you're not allowed to be a hero anymore." And she's like, "Yeah, well, I decided not to listen." The cops show up, and remember, I said they were arguing. They fell on each side of the issue. And this one here, who was in favor of the president's edict, tells Black Canary to put her hands up. Now, his partner comes to her aid, grabs the gun, and tells her to run. Meanwhile, I believe Vertigo got away in all of this. Black Canary does too. But in their struggle, the one officer actually ends up shooting and killing his partner. But at first he's upset about it, but then he actually twists his thinking to blame it on Black Canary. So in the end, he blames Black Canary for all of this, and ends up having to call in saying that the officer was murdered. And you can only imagine he's going to blame it on her. Meanwhile, Darkseid's looking in, and from his little portal thing, I guess. And oh, I'm sorry, no, he's in the alley here, and he's basically saying, "See, just the tiniest little shove, and humans will revert to their most basic instinct, and they're just savages, right?" And we've got the Phantom Stranger back there saying, "Yeah, but don't count out their heroes." They have a little chat back and forth. I'm going to jump to the good stuff here. Jump over to, this is funny here. We've got the Joker and apparently his new girlfriend. She calls herself Fungus Souffle. I don't know where they came up with this name, but sure. The new girlfriend, Fungus Souffle, is here with him at this, I believe it's an art gallery or something. It looks like they've already killed all of the guests there. They've got their gang with them. And in jumps Batman. And of course, the Joker is surprised by this. He's like, "You're not supposed to be here anymore." And Batman's like, "Yeah, I decided not to listen." And so the Joker puts a gun to his new girlfriend's head, saying, "I'll pierce her ear the hard way." And she's like, "You wouldn't." He's like, "Without even blinking, my sweet." And so the Batman has to kind of negotiate with him, or so it would seem. He's actually getting his Batarang out, throws it through the window. It comes back around, cracks the window, surprising the Joker, giving him enough time to knock the Joker out. And he says, "After what you did to the Catwoman, I ought to kill you, Joker." And you can see down in the corner there, it says, "See Detective 570. So of course I'm like, what happened to the Catwoman, right? So when I get done with this story here, I'll do a quick little detour, and I'll do a quick little mini retro review of Detective 570, and we'll learn what happened to Catwoman. Okay, so then we switch back to Los Angeles here, where they've got this crew of bodybuilders that are breaking into some kind of building, only to break into this vault, and this monster appears. And I don't know, she screams "Mama." I don't know why, but sure. It turns out it's actually Guy Gardner, and it's his Rings creation. He claims he's the one true Green Lantern. So he stops them from robbing this place. Meanwhile, there's this other fancy event happening, and this woman shows up dressed just in a bikini. Everyone stops to look and see, and giving just enough time for her, she starts going bong, 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 shattering everyone's ears. And Kronos, the time thief, shows up. Again, all of the heroes are supposedly gone, so that's why all this criminal activity is happening. He shows up, and this woman is apparently a robot, and he pulls this bag out from her, I guess, to steal all of these rare clocks. I don't know. It's pretty random, actually. But Blue Beetle then shows up to stop him, and they begin to fight. The robot has a self-destruct. It blows up, sending these gears after Blue Beetle. Kronos gets away. The cops show up, and of course, they want to arrest Blue Beetle for being a hero. And so he has to make his escape from the cops, of course. Over in Salem, Massachusetts here, we've got Dr. Fate, and he's having to make a choice. He's seeing what's going on, and he's trying to sit this one out because, whenever he puts the helmet on, he doesn't know when he's going to be freed from it again. But he's talking to his, is this his wife?
Inza?
Yeah, Inza.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he's talking to his wife here, and he's like, I don't know what to do. And she's basically like, you have no choice, And so he's basically feels obligated to put the mask on and go help all of the problems that are happening in the world, bring some justice. And but again, it's at the risk of not knowing when he'll ever be home again. And as soon as the mask goes on, Inza and Dr. Fate begin talking, and you can see it's immediate. Your husband is gone. The transformation is complete. And so she's like, just bring him back safe in the end. He's like, I always do. Then we switch over. This is kind of funny. We switch back to the Suicide Squad, who, if you remember, they were just fighting that Molten guy, right? And were successful. And that was the deal, right? That was the deal. They defeat that guy, and then their sentence is they're free to go. Well, Amanda Waller, I guess after the very first mission, is already like, yeah, no, you're keeping the bracelet on. And that's where what's his name? Colonel Flag? Rick Flag, yeah. He ends up releasing the bracelets. He's like, no. We had a deal. That's not how we work. They're free to go. So he frees them. Waller's not exactly happy about it. Then we've got Godfrey on the news, and he's whipping up the crowd into like a practical riot. And it sounds like the president now has just ordered him to be arrested, even though he's been on his side with telling the, not being in favor of heroes. But now I guess because he's been whipping up these riots, now he's been arrested as well. But he says, well, that's not going to happen though. We're going to overthrow the government, and here's how. And you get this image here of these feet, these metallic feet. And of course, these look an awful lot like those warhounds we saw at the end of the last issue. Now we switch over to Captain Boomerang, who has just been let go. He just has won his freedom through successfully achieving this suicide mission. And what is the first thing that he does? He runs out to New York City and starts causing chaos, throwing his boomerangs through the streets, scaring everyone, stealing their jewelry, and he's right back at it. And who shows up to stop him but the Flash, Wally West? And he's like, I might not be as fast as my uncle, but look, Boomerang catches him with one on the back of the head. Look at that. And so then he pulls out his razor ring. But before he gets a chance, you got Beast Boy here, jumps in to stop him. And this is a really dumb scene, actually. So Wally stops Beast Boy and says, no, you can't be the one to take him down. I have to be the one to take him down because I'm the Flash. And in doing so, they let Captain Boomerang get away, and in come the Darkseid's Warhounds. So as suspected, that is what those feet were that we saw. We get a scene of Apocalypse moving in towards Earth. We also get Darkseid again having these conversations with the Phantom Stranger, and the Phantom Stranger's like, look, Superman may be following the law right now, but he still's there, and he's still their best hope. And Darkseid says, yeah, maybe for now, but once we show up, once Apocalypse Warworld shows up at Earth, Superman's going to be no match, basically. And so he says, let's slip the dogs of war. And that's going to do it for issue number 4.
Now, Fu, while you pull up that supplement, I do have a question about Captain Boomerang.
Yes.
I mean, I thought of this as you were talking, as you were reviewing the story. I think it would be pretty difficult to find fabric with boomerangs on it.
Yes.
I mean, that's a pretty random thing to call it. What did he just call around? Hello, Joanna Fabrics. Do you have any fabric with boomerangs on it?
Well, maybe Joanna's Fabrics in Johannesburg is South Africa. No, I don't know. Maybe in Australia it's more common. Don't know.
Maybe
I almost got my geography wrong there.
He went to just Walmart. They have a fabric department. Call around to every Walmart in America.
Yeah. You have boomerang fabric.
Okay, so what happens in this issue? Because I'm very curious.
Okay, so Detective 570, first off, how can you not love this
That's
cover?
A great cover.
Right? Check that out. So what happens in here, I'm just going to breeze right through it.
I don't think she's wearing underwear.
So basically Batman is fighting these criminals. And the Joker has already, prior to this issue, captured the Catwoman, and he's got her locked up in this chair, subjected to these scientific experiments that he's got this scientist that you can see he just elbowed there in the chin, working for him. And essentially what they're doing is they're brainwashing her into believing, into trying to get the secret identity of Batman, Bruce Wayne. Because at this point in the comics, Bruce Wayne and Catwoman are together. They're a couple. So he's trying to get Batman's real name, and supposedly here she gives it. He's like, ha ha! And so he's celebrating. And but at that moment, Batman, from these thugs he had beat up, he had gotten the location of this warehouse where they were at. So you can see him flying in, and they show up. They battle with the Joker's goons. Of course, there's got to be like a giant 8-ball and stuff like that. Bowling pins, that sort of thing. They meet the Joker, and Batman quickly goes to take him out, and then who's that character from Cobra Kai? Is his name Stingray, I think? He shows up and fights Batman. And the Joker tries getting away with Catwoman here, who's all like drugged up, it would seem, right? And Batman is still fighting the guy from Cobra Kai. And the Joker and Catwoman get away, so it would seem. Batman catches them at the last minute, and second part of Joker's plan, he's brainwashed Catwoman not only to give up his secret identity, but also to think that Batman is the bad guy. And of course, this really catches Batman off guard. And he's like, come on, Selina. And like, she's busy fighting him with this wicked looking whip. That would just cause some serious damage. But so the two of them go fighting, and in the end, Batman gets left behind, and Catwoman goes off with the Joker, believing that the Batman is in fact the bad guy here. And they go to see who Batman's secret identity is. The name she gave was this guy that she's got trapped on the wall here, tied up to the wall. Obviously, it's not Bruce Wayne. In her confusion of the brainwashing, she got it wrong somehow, but she's still, there with the Joker and, doing his bidding. But the Joker was just about to use the daughter to get this innocent guy to talk. And that's when Selina finally came about her wits, freed the girl, and then Batman and Robin end up showing up, fight the Joker. Selina ends up fighting both of them, fights the Joker too. She escapes, but at this point, she's still not a fan of the Batman. And so she kind of leaves. Her and the Batman are done, and the Batman gives the Joker one final good punch for laughing. And well, actually, not one final punch. I'm sorry. He actually gives them a quite a good beating. That's right. I forgot about this. He gives the Joker a really good beating for that one, for basically taking the woman he loves away from him. And Robin has to stop him, which is pretty cool. So, but yeah, so that's what the Joker ended up doing to Catwoman. There you go.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I got the next issue. Let me just pop my screen up here, and I will show the world.
Great cover again. That's one thing I'll say about this series. All the covers are like stunning.
Oh yeah,
they are. They really are. Okay, so we start off at Fawcett City, hanging out with Billy Batson, and he's kind of remorseful of what happened in the previous issue. And then his sister kind of meets up with him and say, why'd you run away? What's going on? Talk to me. In that conversation, she is struck by a piece of wood. She's unconscious, but she's alive. And he's like, you know what? Screw it. Screw all this self-pity. Turns into Shazam. It says, I'm back this time to stay. Let's end this. So he runs into the crowd to try and stop them. And all of a sudden they've stopped moving. They've like frozen in place. And he doesn't understand like what's going on.
Fate, isn't it?
And you see Dr. Fate's right hand. And he says, Captain Marvel, you are needed. We cut back to Star City, where Black Canary in her cool outfit.
It is a weird outfit, right?
Unnecessarily bell-bottom pants. But
what are
whatever.
these things? Are they meant to be like tongs or something for like the sound waves?
I don't know. But yeah, I had to look at this panel here in the middle with the orange background. I thought when they were shooting, they were hitting her and bouncing off. But they're impacting the wall behind her.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
But anyway, so she does her cool karate stuff, takes them out. We cut to Los Angeles, and we see Guy Gardner taken out. Who is this? Sunspot, the Fury of Sunspot. And I thought it was pretty cool. He's just chatting with them, Sunspot, with his hands behind his back, and he's like got this little like lasso thing kind of walking behind Sunspot. He doesn't see it. It grabs his foot, lifts him up, and then pokes a hole. He lifts up this big truck, pokes just the tiniest little hole in the oil tank, and it just splashes all over his face. Kind of a dick move, but whatever. Get oil in his eyes. But yeah, there he is, just sitting in his bubble while the world burns around him on his lawn chair with his lemonade. But whatever. So Sunspot just blasts him again. It's completely worthless. And then Guy Gardner accidentally burns off his whole foot. He burned off his entire foot. Yeah, which I was like, okay. And then Guy Gardner's like, listen, let's attach it to your hand and see if you like that. But then we hear a voice, Green Lantern, you are needed. Obviously, Dr. Fate. We cut to Chicago. A blue Beetle is peeping on chicks in their rooms. Just kidding. This lady comes to the window and accuses Blue Beetle of being a peeping Tom. You hear a mysterious voice saying, Blue Beetle, you are needed. We cut to Gotham, and Bruce Wayne is brooding over the city. And right before he jumps off, he hears a voice, Batman, you are needed. You can see where this is going. We cut to New York City, where Beast Boy, Wally West are trying to contain the crowds along with Captain Boomerang. And here come the War Dogs, and this huge kerfuffle happens. And it's funny because Captain Boomerang actually gets caught by the crowd, and they kind of body surf him back, which I thought was pretty funny. We hear the Dr. Fate voice, the Flash, Changeling, you're both needed. And they poof, they're gone.
So they just like leave the crowd to those dogs?
Just leave yeah, they're on their own, man. They'll figure it out.
Wow.
They can't kill everybody.
Boomerang's got this.
He's got it. He's under control. We cut to the White House. Superman is talking with President Reagan about the current situation, and Godfrey and how reluctant President Reagan is to send in the military, because he's for sure that they would just defect to Godfrey's side. So he's keeping the army at bay, so to speak. And hey, look, it's Dr. Freight. And he says, hey, sorry to bug you there, Soups, but I need your help over here for a second. So he gets poofed. We cut to Metropolis, and they have Captain Boomerang, even though they were just somewhere else, which no explanation how he got there, just magic, I guess. And he's like, you're one of those heroes, you think you're better than us. And he's like, listen, pal, I'm definitely not a hero. I had to earn my freedom, and I was just robbing a whole bunch of people, so I don't know why you're holding me hostage. We cut to headquarters of Task Force X. Amanda Waller and Colonel Flagg are just like, he just dimed out Task Force X. This guy ain't cool. Amanda Waller's wondering if his bomb in his neck is still active, and he's like, unfortunately, it's not. And then Amanda says, go ahead and do it the old-fashioned way. So who's she going to go out and kill Captain Boomerang? Now we're in Washington, D.C., or at the Lincoln Memorial, and this huge crowd is gathered for Godfrey. And not only do they start chanting end of superheroes, now they're talking about end of the government as we know it. Dr. Fate arrives, and he's like, listen, Godfrey, I don't know how you're going to talk all this smack about all these heroes, but, here you go. If there's anything you want to say, you can go ahead and say it. Phantom Stranger and Darkseid are talking about the Darkseid's next plans. Phantom Stranger says, listen, don't think you're underestimating the will of the heroes. Like, they're fighting for more than just the sake of being heroes. Like, if the world finds out who they are, all of their loved ones are now at risk. So they're fighting just for everything. They have everything on the line, not just their individual lives of their loved ones. And the end credit scene is Robin in the hospital watching all this rioting and stuff on TV with his huge cast on his leg. And he's like, you know what? I'm the boy wonder. I'm going out there. I'm going to help them with one leg somehow. And then we cut to number 6, the last one.
Yeah, Tony, can you do my assist on that?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So we have one of my favorite covers of like I said, all the covers are great. First of all, hello to Sleepy Reader / Sad Vision. Hey, good to have you here. One of my favorite covers is the cover for number 6, the final issue of this miniseries. It's a John Byrne cover too. Check that out. Lots of good stuff. Lots of goodness going on there.
This is it.
So we start the story out, and we have Darkseid and Phantom Stranger once again. And Darkseid is declaring victory and bragging about it and saying how sweet it tastes. And Phantom Stranger's like, this isn't over yet, and you're not going to be victorious. And Darkseid's like, there isn't a way that I'm not going to be victorious. And then essentially what he does is recap some of the recent events, mostly issues 1, 2, and 3 that we covered last week on Comic Foo's channel, and the events that happened in there. And Phantom Stranger is like, in your pride and arrogance, you have ignored one crucial factor in your equation, and that uncontrollable factor will prove to be your downfall. So now we cut over to Washington, D.C. We got the Washington Monument and the White House there, and we have Godfrey, and he's pointing up to the heroes, and Martian Manhunter arrives. And then Dr. Fate's very surprised by this, and he's like, but I did not summon you. And Martian Manhunter's like, nevertheless, I go where I am needed. And Batman welcomes him, and Superman asks if the rest of the Justice League is behind him, and he says, I'm afraid not, Superman. At this moment, the Justice League of America no longer exists. So then the War Dogs start to attack, and the heroes start taking care of things. Even Black Canary's surprised at how fast they move, and Flash got her out of the way. So Guy Gardner really wants to rip in and destroy these War Dogs, but they're reminding him there's people inside there, and you can't hurt the people that are inside there. So in their own individual ways, they start extracting these people from the War Dogs. So you see how each different hero does it. Even Batman shows what a big old study is by being able to remove the people, even though he doesn't have superpowers, and it might take longer, but he still can do it. He's just, right up there with the rest of them. And Godfrey is like, you think you have gained the upper hand, but you're wrong. My war dogs are all over this city ready to wreak destruction. If that isn't enough, then all of a sudden this boom tube arrives, and from Apocalypse, the parademons start coming out. Blue Beetle's like, he says it looks like a bunch of escapees from the Wizard of Oz. And he's like, well, what do I know? I live in Chicago. So Dr. Fate's like, now you see why I've summoned you here, my friends. The fate of all humanity rests in your hands. And Guy Gardner's like, as usual. So they go out to do what they are born to do, and that's to take care of this problem. So Dr. Fate is trying to calm the crowd down when a parademon comes up and rips his helmet off of him. And so without it, now the majority of his power, is harnessed by that helmet. However, Kent Nelson has a little bit of power on his own, even without it. So he takes that little bit of power that he has, and he's wise enough to know that he's got to get the heck out of there. So he retreats, and Godfrey is just enjoying it. So there we have Captain Boomerang. And you'll see on the next page that he's starting to get cornered by these war dogs. And he's telling, Boomerang is telling them, set me free, and I'll give you the details that you want to know. And what they want to know is about this super villain group that was working together. That's what they want to know. And we see there's a target right there on Captain Boomerang. And right before Deadshot gets ready to do it, Rick Flag pulls it out of his hand and stops it. And Deadshot's like, but our orders were to either rescue Boomerang before he could reveal the existence of Task Force X or to ice him. And Rick Flag's like, and I'm the one who decides which it's going to be. I think we can still save him. So the Enchantress uses her powers and turns the war dogs into strawberry jello. Yeah. So Bronze Tiger is up next on the next page. And he goes down to take care of Godfrey, and they make eye contact, and Godfrey's influence starts to empower him just a little bit. Then we cut over to the rest of Task Force X. They're going to get Boomerang, and Boomerang knows that he's in trouble because he was about to give it up. And he's like, oh, I really wasn't. And Rick Flag decks him, and they haul him in, and it's time to hit the road. So then we got Batman up there, and he's realizing that things are getting out of hand. So he swings down, starts taking care of some of the thugs. Remember, these are the people, these are the average citizens who are under control or under the influence of Godfrey. We have Guy Gardner coming down to take care of some war dogs as well. Scroll back up just to here so we can see. Look at that face. Look at that look on his face in that panel. And he says, maybe that'll help me prove the Guardians that they gave this ring to the right, dare I say it, guy. So we got
classic Gardner
in words. In the next panel, if you scroll just a hair down, we see someone in the shadows who's saying, I had not intended to reveal my presence in man's world so soon after my arrival. Then you see her run out, but no Amazon worthy of the name can stand idly by while innocent blood is at risk. And then as we go to the next page, boom, there she is. Diana, Princess of the Amazon, whom those of man's world shall come to know as Wonder Woman. And Guy Gardner is like, eep. So she's taking care of some war dogs. And Guy Gardner says, not bad, babe. You just might have a future in this biz. He introduces himself, and then she says, and I love this, then I suggest if you are on the side of honor that you stop ogling me and protect those you are sworn to protect. Before this madness is finally ended, there is much to be done, and that only such as we can do. And for the record, Guy Gardner, I am nobody's babe. And he goes, wow, that is one tough broad.
Except Steve Trevor, maybe. But
so back at the White House has been breached, the Oval Office specifically. There's Reagan. They're coming to get him. They shoot at him. What happens? Nothing. How is that possible? And Reagan's like, time's up, game's over. Then we see the real Reagan walking out of the door, and we realize that had been the Martian Manhunter impersonating Reagan. And Reagan thanks him for that and immediately decides to rescind the executive order banning superheroes immediately. And we cut back to the other heroes and how they're dealing with these war dogs. And each one is taking care of the crowd and the folks. This goes on for a couple of pages. We just essentially catch up with all of our characters in their fight, in their effort to take care. And they realize that they could use some more help. And that's instantly what they get. Look at all those heroes appearing now. You know, Martian Manhunter, Guy Gardner, Wonder Woman, Dr. Fate, Shazam, and Superman all appear. And we have Godfrey and we have White Tiger, who's under Godfrey's influence. You know, you must destroy them all is the order that he gives. So the people are, I mean, we see the faces of the heroes, we see the faces of the crowds, we see the face of Darkseid, who's just enthralled by this because he is about to win. And Phantom Stranger says, you know, the final scene of your little drama is still to be played. Behold. And right there, we have a little kid that runs up. No, stop. You mustn't do this. And all these kids start running up and they're like, where do these kids come from? And the kids are like, please, folks, you got to stop this. We're not going to let you touch the heroes. It's wrong. And there's Robin. He's like, listen to the kids. They're making sense. And Batman's even like, careful, Robin, you're dancing through a minefield there. And the kids explain that they believe in the heroes, what they represent. You once told me we all could be heroes, Daddy, if that's what we wanted. Please, Daddy, be my own hero. And then Godfrey's like, don't listen to them, and then slaps that little Lisa in front of the entire crowd. And it's a big old bitch slap, as you see there, too. And,
yeah. Big old French one.
Yeah. And
she's like, Batman didn't kick her.
The crowd is like, did you see that? You know, he slapped that kid. What kind of animal is it? They start to turn on Godfrey. So Godfrey pulls out kind of like his little ace in the hole. It's Fate's helmet. And he puts it on. He's like, this is really going to magnify my powers. 1 second, less than 1 second with Fate's helmet on top of him, and the power of Naboo slashes through Godfrey, and then it's gone. And I mean, he's essentially toast. And Kent Nelson takes the helmet off him, regains possession of the helmet. White Tiger starts to adios there. And, you know, Guy Gardner's, you know, the crowd is apologizing to the heroes. Like, we're so sorry, you know, and they're like, we understand you were under the influence. And Guy Gardner's like, but there had to be a seed there, you know. They had to feel that deep inside, and they're telling him, you know, what Guy's thinking isn't right. And Wonder Woman says, whether they be worshipped, there will always be a need for true heroes. And Fate's like, and there is a need for a brotherhood of heroes. You know, those Jean-Jeans has indicated that the Justice League's been disbanded. The purpose for which it was first joined is no less urgent than in those dark days. What do you say, my friends? Will you stand behind me in the name of justice? And there we have everyone saying yes. They go to ask Wonder Woman. Superman goes to ask Wonder Woman, and she's gone. And Batman's like, we'll see her again. And Martian Manhunter says, agree, the lady is the very essence of the term hero. So they decide, well, what are we going to call ourselves? And there on the next page, you'll see Blue Beetle says, well, the name's free, so I vote that we call ourselves the Justice League. Thus, we have the birth of the new Justice League. And then on Apocalypse, you know, Phantom Stranger saying, you know, I have foretold, you have lost. You never truly understood how deeply integrated the need for the legends is within the human psyche. Instead of destroying the concept of legends, you have merely reaffirmed it. And Darkseid's like, it was an entirely reasonable plan, but those cursed humans are too unpredictable. Still, it's only a temporary setback. In the end, humanity is destined to fall before the matchless might of Darkseid the Destroyer. So there on the final page, we have this great image, you know, Phantom Stranger, what constitutes a legend? Is it the powers and abilities beyond those of mortal men? Is it a fighting heart that refuses to acknowledge defeat? For centuries beyond numbering, from the ancient campfire to the towering condominium, man has relied on his legends to hold back the night. Men call me the Phantom Stranger, and those are those who claim I am a legend as well. If so, I am proud to be counted in the same company of those such as thee. And then we got our final picture of our legends there and wrapping up our mini series.
Very cool.
So what do you guys want to score this, and score this overall, meaning all 6 issues? And first, hello to the art chemist who joined us while I was retro reviewing.
I like it. Let's say 3.5 out of 5.
Fu, what are you thinking?
I'll give it a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. I thought this was a fun story. I really enjoyed all of the characters, and the art was pretty decent. It wasn't fantastic, but it was good. It was just all around. It was fun, and yeah.
I feel like it's on par for what you would expect. What does this came out in '87? So this is pretty standard style art for the time.
That's true. One thing I did notice is, especially in Lasso's issue, Batman, it's like they got real lazy on the ink. Especially towards the end, he starts going to all black where he was blue for most of the other books.
Interesting enough, there were 2 different inkers on this issue that I reviewed, and the inker changed around page 20 or 21, somewhere in there.
They also changed Ronald Reagan's hair color.
Yeah.
It was black, now it's red.
But yeah, it's like Batman's outfit changed halfway through the story.
Yeah, I don't know why there was this change of an inker, when 2/3 of the book was done with one, and then I don't know the reason behind, but I did read that there was a change of an inker. Also, incidentally, with my issue, this is the first appearance of Wonder Woman outside of her own title since the reboot of Crisis. So her book had been out either 2 or 3 issues by the time this issue came out. And this is the first time, like I said, she was ever seen outside of her own title.
Nice.
And this last issue 6, is a key. It is the first time you see Justice League International together. If you're into that.
Yeah,
there they are.
I love that. I was thinking, as we're reading this story, it's like, why didn't they take that first Suicide Squad movie, right? I mean, because you see obviously elements of this in it. Why didn't they take that and use that to launch into the Justice League movie, right? With the parademons and Darkseid, like it all goes together. They had it right there. Like they just gave us junk instead. But
interesting.
So I'm gonna go 4 out of 5. The only thing that I really didn't like about this happened in my issue, and I thought the little kid stopping the entire thing was a little. It was a little unreal. Well, I talk about unrealistic in a book where heroes, but it just, I don't know. It seemed to play to the audience and not to the story.
Yeah, so I agree.
That was the only thing that I was like, But other than that, I enjoyed the art. John Byrne's an incredibly talented man. His art style now is a lot different than it was when he was doing this book. Personally, I prefer how it looks in this book and when he did X-Men years earlier than compared to how his art evolved. That's just my personal taste, though.
Fair enough. Yeah, this I like Wonder Woman's hair. It looks like a lion's mane. It's definitely got some volume, that's for sure.
Yeah. All right, so that brings us to the Kyle's saying adios. We'll be wrapping up in a few minutes. We're going to talk about what's going on in everyone's channel and do a book show at this portion. Now, who would like to go first?
I'll go first. I've got no book show and nothing planned on the channel, so on to Tony.
All right. Makes that a little easier. I'm going to show off the book that Lasso had sent me a while ago. I forgot to show it off the week I got it. So this is I'm not sure what this is. I assume a reprint of stories.
No, it's a magazine.
Just a magazine. Okay. I didn't take it out of the thing to look at it. So.
Yeah, it's not actually a comic book. It's a magazine.
Okay, just a CC Beck cover, I guess.
yeah, that's their cover story. But there's articles in there about different superheroes and stuff. But when I saw the cover, I thought you would love it, and I thought you probably didn't know it existed.
I didn't know it existed, and I do love the cover. So
good.
You win both.
Good.
In terms of what's coming up on the channel, oh man, some Black Adam stuff for sure. I mean, we got Comic-Con coming up. Little bit of sad news on that front. Everyone keeps canceling Baltimore Comic-Con, so just had a big one cancel on us. Brian Michael Bendis, so I had a bunch for him.
I was sad about Mark Waid canceling.
Mark Waid too. I didn't have as many for Mark Waid, but I had the most for Brian Michael Bendis, and he was a good one. Not only because I had a stack for him, but I know what he charges, and his is like usually about $1 a signature. So I was willing to give him a 20 and have him sign a whole stack. It doesn't say. Health could be anything, but boy, that 500 is getting further and further away. I'm gonna really have to be huffing it
next thing you know, that other Tony Fett will have over 500, and you'll still be sitting where you're at.
Well, the other Tony Fett doesn't chase signatures, so he'd go from 0 to 500 in a weekend. I'd be kind of impressed and depressed at the same time, but confusing. But that's all that's coming up on my channel right now. Kind of just waiting to see how Comic-Con ends up. So stay tuned for more.
Cool. So on my channel, this past week, I did a comic book additions video, some recent additions into my channel. And of course, we have the back issue of the week. We'll have another short of the back issue of the week dropping tomorrow. Then on Tuesday, my comic book additions video is an AOK from Stone Cold Steve Whiting, Bronze Age Brian, and Jeff the Cantonese Comic Kid. They all went together and AOK'd me something. So I'll do that unboxing video Tuesday afternoon on my channel. There will also be another cover by video coming out on my channel on Friday. Now for a book show, and I thought for sure one of you would have shown this, but you didn't. I thought since we did the Legends, I would show the first issue of the new Justice League, which comprised of many of the characters that were a big part of the Legends series. And of course, this cover ended up and still is a cover that's homaged quite frequently.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even think about
the same series, right?
So I thought that would be a good book show for today.
Good one. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. So that's what's going on here. Anything else to cover? Or? Next week, we're going to be on Comic Foo's channel, and we're doing a Black Adam themed retro review.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's going to be very exciting. So I think I have a book in mind already. So
awesome.
We'll see. And then back on your channel doing Halloween stuff.
Yeah, and then back on my channel for Halloween, a little trick-or-treating in 2 weeks.
And then we got to then we're over on Tim's channel. Just kidding.
Tim's not going to be on it, but we're going to be on the channel.
Yeah, we'll be on Tim's channel. Yeah. He should just give us his login stuff so we can just upload random stuff.
He should turn the camera on, in the little tiny closet. He just won't be in there.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Let one of his kids make a video. It'll be great.
Yeah.
Tony, are your kids dressing superhero-ish for Halloween?
Yeah, it's funny because Sunday is Comic-Con. We're going to Comic-Con. Well, Saturday we're doing a Halloween thing in one of the neighborhoods. Sunday's Comic-Con. Monday is another Halloween thing. So they're doing superhero stuff 3 days in a row. So
good. They're getting use out of the costume then. It's not just a one and done deal. Yeah.
Trust me. What we spent on, especially my 3-year-old, she wants to be Wonder Woman. So we went to Spirit Halloween and she was like, oh, I want this costume. I'm like, no. We're going to get you the good costume. You got a lasso that lights up. She didn't want the sword or the shield. I was like, that's fine. You got as long as you have the lasso. You got to, right?
Patty Jenkins, are you listening?
Yeah. Well, don't you think your opinion is slightly biased? But it's fun. I'm looking forward to this will be her first big convention.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, my wife just like my not my 3-year-old, my 4-year-old. Sorry.
Your 4-year-old. Getting corrected. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm being spied upon apparently.
Yeah.
So
probably hoping that video clip would play. I I don't have that clip. Otherwise, I would have shared it a few times. But I'm in the process of getting that, so don't give up on my channel. I'm still
Give up. Give up.
Well, thank you guys. It was an honor to retro review with you once again. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your week.
Will do. It's going to be a short one. I'm taking off on Friday for Black Adam.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
And to everyone that joined us live, very much appreciated. For those joining us on the rewind, always appreciated as well. Black Adam Retro Review next week on Comic Food 2814's channel. Take care and have a great remainder of your weekend.